who else is out there right now with all the latest, greatest clothing that, of course, is made by Caucasians. Mm-hmm. You know, we tend to support our own up to a certain extent,
right.
Up to a certain time. It's like a parking meter, like we done ran out of time.
Right.
You know, what do you think the problem is as to why Black clothing businesses don't make it through within longevity? Because I think it's, you know, when you go to even Sean John, mm-hmm. you know, he's still out. He's mm-hmm. still putting things out, but you don't see our people wearing
right.
these lines of clothing out here. They'd rather, like I say, pick something else from someone else, especially a designer who don't even like our kind.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, trust me, we've done a lot of thinking about this.
Okay.
But the way I see it is,
mm-hmm.
A lot of white-owned clothing companies that we gravitate towards mm-hmm. didn't start off looking for us as their consumer base. So they'll take our money. Don't get it wrong.
Definitely.
They'll take our money, but when you hear about Timberland didn't, you know, when he said he didn't make his boots for urban kids, mm-hmm. he didn't. When he thought of this company, he was thinking of outdoorsy
construction,
hunting,
mm-hmm.
whatever it was, things mm-hmm. that we were totally opposite of.
Right.
So when he did make his clothing or his line, mm-hmm. he wasn't thinking of us. But we gravitated towards that. We took it on as our own, and as good business people, they, you know, obviously they did have to do to capture that market. But and I think once we call something is dead, mm-hmm. they still have their core audience mm-hmm. to go back to.
Right.
We, as let's say a FUBU, when we start our business, we looked at our market as our base consumer. Mm-hmm. So once they drop it, you know, there is no other fan. There is no a lot of our lines. There is no other consumer to move to support it through the lean times.
Right.
Now, as a company, I mean, luckily for us, as we grew a lot larger than the average brand. Mm-hmm. So we had a large international consumer base.
Okay.
So what we did was we licensed our name to a lot of different countries.
Okay.
You know, from Germany to Russia. I mean, literally pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
So when things did slow down in America, we did have a strong international consumer base to feed from.
That's
so
awesome.
It wasn't like America, you know, we wasn't getting it like that, but it kept us afloat.
Right.
You know, through the times, because in hip hop especially, it's a short time span from the clothing to the artist, anything is very short.
Yes.
So we took that into consideration early. Not that we didn't take a large hit as far as financially, but it kept us. We're still in business 25 years later.
Right.
When in other times, a lot of companies aren't. You know?
Exactly.
So it's really just trying to think ahead, and when you have the opportunity to diversify your consumer base, mm-hmm. so you're not dependent on just one.
And that's a good thing because of the fact you have to branch out.
Right.
Like you cannot stay stagnant in one area.
Right.
Like
no matter
America.
how good you're doing.
Yeah,
right.
America to me is like, you know, and I have no clue of anything really about New York because mm-hmm. I'm not from there. Mm-hmm. But I think somebody, of course, from New York like yourself, mm-hmm. You know, America's like a quick turnaround.
Right.
Like it's just constantly just moving.
Right.
It's fast paced. Like, okay, let's just move this next thing in and just take this one and ship it out. And mm-hmm. I think of it like musicians, how their music is still popular mm-hmm. in other countries mm-hmm. as opposed to that we just killed it here and don't even, right. We don't listen to them. After their second album, you know, right. It's like, well, they don't, you know, make that anymore, so we don't buy that. And mm-hmm. I'm from the West Coast, and the West Coast, it's a lot slower right. than the East Coast. Mm-hmm. So, like, even when the Timberlands were coming out, even back to Carhartt mm-hmm. sweatshirts, like, mm-hmm. they were popular to us in Seattle after the East Coast was kind of done with them. It's right. just like, go ship it over there and right. send them all of our leftovers, you know, because right. we're wearing something else, you know. Mm-hmm. So I get it, you know, to become a successful business owner, especially when it comes to clothing, mm-hmm. accessories, yeah, you have to put it in different pockets, right. and especially for you to still see a gain from it as opposed to seeing a loss. So yeah, that's great. You guys are still winning.
Yeah, well, it's you got to recognize different things for what they are. Like we know New York is a trend-setting city, and that's what you use it for. If you want to set a trend, you want to get something popping, you make your investment in New York. If it pops there,
right?
You pretty much can take it anywhere and run with
right,
it.
Right.
But don't think about New York as your money maker. You know what I mean, think about New York as your launching pad.
Okay, your starting point. Okay.
And don't spend your money to start off, but don't spend your money trying to stay hot there because this is not going to happen.
Right.
So once you know your markets, then you know how to adjust your business plan. Okay.
Tell me, what changes do you think has to be made with FUBU today for it to flourish back out,
Good
for
question,
America?
Because right now we're experiencing a really strong resurgence in interest.
Okay.
So we're actually dealing with this as we speak. We're doing a lot of collaborations with a lot of brands. We just launched one with Puma. We got another one coming out with Mitchell and Ness. We got quite a few stores that's picking us up now. But as opposed to when we started, we're really controlling how much and what goes out, as opposed to just letting it run free. We're really controlling the growth.
Okay.
And so we're making the adjustments. It's not that we're changing; we're just changing our approach.
Okay.
Because we even thought about, should we make all new styles? Yes, but there are a certain group of people that they want that back in the day stuff.
Right.
So you can't just go all new.
Right.
You gotta give them the back in the day stuff. They want that retro stuff, but then slip in some new stuff to kind of build a new business off.
Right.
So that's what we're experiencing now.
It has that classic spin.
Right.
And people,
kids look at their parents' pictures back in the day.
Right.
They're looking for something different. Oh, I want that.
Right.
Some artists back in the days wearing something. They want to show some retro stuff. So they'll see some artists wearing FUBU stuff back in the 90s. So they want that. They don't want the new one. They want the
right. And
you got to balance it.
Exactly. You do have to balance it out. And it's funny because of the fact of going back to the 90s with the style. I notice a lot of people now, even when they have their birthday parties, they want to do an old school 80s, old school 90s party. And then it's hard to try to piece clothing together like today as to what am I wearing to this party? And then it's it's kind of like a nostalgic feeling to bring it back in. And then I think they kind of go back to that part of their life. When they put the clothes on, it's like they just morphed somewhere.
It's like fashion is just like music. It's like you listen to music, it brings you back to that moment you heard it, or that party you remember it. Right. It brings you back to the good times, a good moment you had in your life.
Right, they were all good times.
So, and the same thing with fashion. We wear fashion fashion exists not because you need a shirt and pant. Fashion exists because of emotion and feeling it gives you.
Right.
And you don't forget that. Especially at a peak time of your life when you at the greatest party of your life and the music is playing just right and the drinks are flowing. You remember all of that. All that's the sticks in your psyche. So when you think about the best time of your life, so I had FUBU was hot. Whatever artist was hot, and you, that's what you go back to when you want that feeling.
Right. So, Lost Boys, Wu-Tang, all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure we give them that because that's why they're showing any interest in the first place.
Right.
Why they doing that? Say, hey, check this out. You got a little new. You kind of show something new, and why you at it, why you have their attention.
Right.
And then you try to build off of that to kind of stabilize and be something long term.
I think with history repeats itself all the time. Everything comes back around, even to where I now understand what my mom meant. We used to wear that, and y'all aren't doing anything right. We've been there, done that. That's their thing. That's I think a famous line from parents, meaning you're not slick.
Right.
Okay.
The dances you do, everything you do, we done did it all.
We done did that times 3. So again, I'm up to your little antics. I know what you're trying to do.
You couldn't picture your parents doing the nonsense you were doing.
Right. I'm no, she didn't. She's telling lies, but I believe it. Yeah, I do.
I tell my kids all the time, y'all have no idea.
Right.
They man, you don't know.
You're wait a minute, I used to be your age, so I get it. But it's always good for something to come back as far as a classic. And I mean, of course, just to put this all the way far right, we can't remake every movie.
Right.
But we can bring our clothing back. And we can bring the style back. Because I think that's what people need.
Right.
Especially just to regroup ourselves just in the community itself. I think it's going to be a positive thing, especially when we keep pushing and doing things, especially for our people.
Right.
And to give the youth something different to look at and then appreciate the style. I think that might help them pull their pants up and then be a little more.
This doesn't last. My on the business side of it, my one of our investors, is not old, he was younger then.
Okay.
Two Jewish brothers, Norm and Bruce, garment guys, down generation, this garment guys, outerwear, jeans, they just always in the garment business. But they told us, we got to the point where we were literally everywhere. We couldn't be in another store. We couldn't push any more goods out. And we started seeing the fluctuation in sales.
Okay.
So we got to I guess a crossroad, you can say, to where, okay, they're losing interest in food. Let's be honest. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna invest money into marketing and convince them that we're still hot, or should we not fight the cycle, because it is a cycle. Right. Should we invest in this money that we know we can't fight what happens. It's gonna go out of style, but it's a cycle. It will come back. Right. So do we spend the money now? Or do we hold it to when it makes that turn? The turn is about 10 years. 10 to 15 years to turn in fashion. Okay. So what we decided to do, people say, oh, why y'all disappear? Why y'all... We didn't disappear. Right. It was a calculated effort. It was a calculated thought on ours to know that no matter how much money we spend at this point in the business, you can't fight the cycle. Right. Let's catch it on the way back. And let's fall back for right now. Let's fall back around. Wait a minute. Make other investments. That's right. When we purchased Coogee. We have Atomic sneakers. We did a few other lines, but we knew FUBU would come back. But spending money on it at that time wasn't the best place to invest our money. And like about 15 now, so 20, almost 15 years later, you know, there's a people calling our phone, they're picking up our phone. Right, like here we go. See, this is what we've been waiting for. I need some pieces here. But the phone was dead for 10 years, dead. Right. When it comes to FUBU. And now all of a sudden,
you pick it up like we do got a dial tone. Okay, it works. Okay, I was just making sure the line was still connected.
Once you understand the cycle, especially when it comes to music, same way. Once you understand the cycle of your whatever business you're in, then you know when to spend your money, when to fall back. You know, you know how to react when certain things happen. Okay,
tell me about Hotel FUBU.
Hotel FUBU is now when you talk about something you love to do, because everyone says, oh, get into something you love to do and you'll never be broke. That's bullshit. do what you love to do when it comes to charity and your hobbies, but do what makes money when it comes to business. And that's what I tell people. And when it came to fashion, I'm not a fashion guy. Okay. I'm not. Okay. I like a nice shirt and jacket, clean sneakers like anybody else, but I'm not someone that wakes up in the morning and opens up a GQ book and just all into it. I know guys.
So your closet's not walk in and then it'd be like, good morning.
It's walk in, but it's all t-shirts.
Okay, all right.
It's up to me. I can wear black every single day.
Oh, yeah, you know I feel you.
But there's some guys like my friend Jay. I mean, you go in his closet, it looks like you walk into a department store. It's everything he's just everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
He loves fashion.
Scared to touch it. I don't know.
But with that being said, fashion, I knew fashion could make money. I saw it making money for us. I saw us make a hat from absolutely nothing. Okay. And turn it into $10. Right. That's what turned me onto fashion. Okay. You know I mean? And so, but the hotel business, before I started this whole fashion thing, was what I wanted to go into. Okay. I wanted to go into hotel management, somewhere in the hotel industry, and eventually own hotels, and eventually be able to travel to each one of my hotels and just chill out. Okay. That was my dream. Okay. Before fashion came in the way. So basically, I'm doing now. I turned 45 when I started really getting into it. And I said, hold up, I'm not getting no younger. This is the time for me to make this move. Really make a really strong run for it. And that's what this is. I'm trying to, my goal is to acquire some boutique hotels and do whatever it takes to grow the business. Awesome. So right now We're looking for some properties. I think we identified a few. We're waiting for some financing to come through, so we're looking